Life is full of mysteries. Join me as I explore them on this next episode.
Hey guys, welcome back to this episode on the unsolved murder of Nick Grassmyer. Nick Grassmyer was born March 16th, 1961. He grew up in Bellwood, Pennsylvania, which is roughly a halfway point between Altoona and Tyrone. Remember, Kathy Shea was the little girl that was kidnapped in Tyrone. So this is about 7-8 miles from where she was kidnapped, roughly. Bellwood is a small community of roughly 2,000 people in central Pennsylvania. Okay. Nick was the son, or is the son, of Mary Ann and Bob Grassmyer. Nick grew up in Bellwood. He played sports such as baseball and football.
The year was 1977.
Number one song was Best of My Love by the Emotions. Susan Perkins of Ohio is crowned the 50th Miss America. Jimmy Carter is the president. And Star Wars is at the top of the box office. Popular TV shows include Happy Days, The Two Ronnies, Good Times, and 8 is Enough. Popular toys were Light Bright, the Risk board game, Star Wars action figures. Popular kids and teen shows were Pink Panther, Captain Kangaroo, Bagpuss, and Jabberjaw. I did look into the Two Ronnies. It's quite the comedy. Okay. Excuse me. In September 9th, 1977, a game that's called the Backyard Brawl between Bellwood and Tyrone. Remember, these teams in these communities are less than 10 miles apart. So this is the Backyard Brawl. This is the big game. Nick is playing halfback and defensive back in this game. He's a junior. He is 5'7", 135 pounds. And his jersey is number 56. In this game, Bellwood dominated Tyrone, the Tyrone Golden Eagles, in Bellwood's home field, Memorial Field. Bellwood forced 6 fumbles and made tackles for loss 15 times to absolutely dominate Tyrone Golden Eagles 21-0. Now, this beatdown created a lot of animosity at the stadium between the Golden Eagle fans, players, whatnot, and the Blue Devil fans and players. Okay? In particular, Nick Grassmyer. There were people that mentioned that Nick was having a lot of arguments with individuals. Which, that's what happens at games. Okay? So after the game, Nick went home, bum $1 off his parents because he wanted to go to the dance, celebrate. have a good time. So he went to the dance with his date, also his girlfriend at the time. And after the dance, Nick and his girlfriend went to her place until about midnight. Nick went out to start his car. His car wouldn't start. So he went back in the house. Remember, they used landlines back then. And called his parents and said that he would be walking, so he was going to be a little bit late. This was after midnight. Now, the girlfriend lived on Campbell's Lane. And Nick lived on, I believe, RD3. Okay, so this is a short walk. So Nick leaves Campbell's Lane to go down 865, which is the road that goes in through Bellwood. Okay, at some point, he meets foul play.
Nick encounters a nefarious individual, and this person strikes Nick over the head, which fractures his skull, and Nick never completes the short walk home. Did Nick encounter someone from the backyard brawl? Perhaps someone in which he had an argument with, someone in which they had a motive to kill.
He was killed. Somebody killed Nick on his short walk home. Now, the family is still waiting for Nick to come home. Bob went to bed. Mary Ann, I don't think she slept very well because at 5 a.m. she was at the dinner table still waiting on Nick. So when Bob got up at 5 a.m., he noticed his wife at the table, and he asked her what was the matter. And she said, well, Nick hasn't come home yet. She's worried. So they went out and looked for Nick. Couldn't find Nick. They started calling people to help look. And we find Nick. Help find Nick. Well, they weren't able to find Nick, so they eventually did call the police, but they did a search. They weren't able to find Nick with the help of the fellow football team, the firemen, the police, their friends. They weren't able to find Nick. This is September 10th that this is taking place. Fast forward to September 11th. In Tyrone, there's joggers jogging up Janesville Pike. And I'll show what this looks like. And they discovered a body over in an embankment, down in an embankment a little bit, in the vegetation, which is very close to the Tyrone Reservoir. So they call the police come and investigate. They call the Grassmyer family and see if they can come up and identify the body. As possibly being Nick Grassmyer. And that is indeed what happened. And Bob did identify the body as his son. So Bob had to go home and break the news to his already distraught wife and family. This is a very rough time for the family, as you can imagine. So, the next half brother, his name was Bob as well, said that he can recall Mary Ann and how she reacted to the news that her boy was murdered. He said he can still hear those words and how she sounded to this day, which I can imagine. We all can imagine. So Nick went from one of the best moments of his life, that backyard brawl, the dance, to his girlfriends, to find himself dead. And the cemetery is located right across the street from the football stadium. Very, very it's ironic that his biggest moment in his life was mere 50 yards from where he's buried. Who would have known? Police chief out of Hollidaysburg thought that somebody up the mountain was responsible for Nick's death. So the police went up the mountain and went door to door trying to find information on what happened to Nick. This went on for several weeks, but they yielded zero results. And Bob thought that they should have looked more into Bellwood and Tyrone, which they didn't. And he feels like if they would have, then maybe they would have yielded more results and maybe found out what happened to Nick. So my question is, was Nick dropped off on Janesville Pike to throw off the police, to make the police believe that they were going up the mountain, that they lived up the mountain? And I believe that that's why the police indeed did look up the mountain versus Tyrone or Bellwood. You know, Mary Ann died in 1994, still not knowing what happened to her son. She died of cancer at 54 years old. She had a bed in the bedroom, and she would just look at Nick's picture on the wall all day long. Tragedy. And this case was reopened last year, 2024, because there was people talking about the case as if they knew details, and state police opened it back up and started interviewing people, asking questions, but they didn't get anywhere. Unfortunately, there is a reward for any information on what may have happened to Nick. There is a reward of $5,000 for information that may lead to an arrest of the people that are responsible for the murder of Nick Grassmyer.
Anyone with information on the case is asked to contact PSP Hollidaysburg at 814-696-6100 or PA Crime Stoppers at 1-800-4PA Tips 8477. Be a hero today.
Be safe and have a good one.